right? And I can appreciate this Big Sean album for what it is, Better You Than Me. And it's crazy because I love the Rick Ross album, Rather You Than Me, right? So Better You Than Me, it's a very similar, album title, but I believe Sean is getting better. I believe this is an evolution of his sound. This is an evolution of his substance. Because at the end of the day, Sean was rapping, but what he was rapping about back in the day really didn't have much substance, didn't have much meaning, and I think he would give us those records, Blessed, Sanctified. I think he would give us those meaningful records here and there. But when I think about his overall career and I think about just his discography that I'm aware of, I don't remember him being as relatable as he is to this day for me right now. And right, they say that music is not for everybody. Big Sean, he made an adult album, so it might not be for the youngins that can relate. It might not be for them hot boys that's out there in them streets trying to knock down every woman. You know what I'm saying? It might not be for them street goons, gangsters that's trying to shoot up, somebody else's house because they done got into a disagreement on X or on Instagram. It might not be for those people, but for an adult man, for a mature mind, for somebody that's trying to be responsible, for somebody that's trying to be accountable, for somebody that's really trying to understand the language of the world, the language of the land, the language of the people that don't really get to speak much, right? I think this is invigorating. I think Big Sean, he did a good job. Better You Than Me, right? And pretty much that first part of the album, you know what I'm saying? You got Pressure, then that's a skit, then you got Iconic, right? And it goes all the way to that Clarity skit, which I think is the skit with The Rock. And he mentioned The Rock being one of his friends. Yeah, The Rock, Dwayne Rock Johnson, that was in WWF, now called WWE, has a friendship with him, right? And The Rock had a skit. And so, man, that first 8 tracks, like, just those tracks in between that skit really just got the album going in the direction that it needed to go. It really gave you the energy and also gave you so many different type of flows and so many different type of tones and textures within the music, the samples, the production, but still keeping you light, still keeping you bright, still keeping you on your feet. Like, this was an album that was going to uplift you from beginning to end, and this was an album that was cohesive. 20 tracks, an hour and 6 minutes, and nothing about this album was wasteful. Nothing about this album was like not good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've heard critics already, and I didn't want to listen to them, but I had to hear them say what they said, and I try not to develop an opinion based on what somebody else is say. I try not to already come into these album reviews with already a stain on my brain, with already a misconception, without really just understanding my opinion, understanding how I feel, because at the end of the day, right, everybody got their opinion. But I feel like some of these platforms, they're not really taking in the music. They're not really listening to this music, and that's why they can't dissect it. That's why they can't really break it down. And when I'm thinking about Big Sean, when you really break down everything to the lyrics were as expected. The lyricism was great. The lyricism was there. As I spoke earlier, the substance, it was there. It was clear cut. The message was across the board. You understood what Big Sean was trying to say. The concept, right? He had the skits. He wanted it to have that album feel. The concept was there. Maybe not a storytelling concept from the beginning to the end of the album, but a concept of whatever message that he was trying to portray was deeply embedded within structure and the curation of this album. Better You Than Me, Big Sean. Right? And towards the later part out of the album, the latter part, it really got more distinctive. It really got more informative. It really broke down a little bit of Sean's thinking a little bit more. It really got a little bit deeper. You know what I'm saying? So like, this album kept you light and kept you, you know, in a bright mindset, but at the same time it had its different points. You know, it had a different patterns where it was going into a deeper space, where it was going to a place that will make you think a little bit more. And he's a new father. He has a famous woman. He has a lot to talk about. He hasn't dropped the project in a while. He has a lot to talk about. And my expectations of this album was, I just want to hear good music. Right? It wasn't, this gotta be better than your last album. This gotta be better than what Drake just dropped. This gotta be better than what Kendrick did on Mr. Morale. No, I just came into this album with just, you know, no expectations, but expecting good music, expecting quality music. Because if not, why did you take your time? And I understand now why he took his time. I understand now why he was very thoughtful of how he put this album together. So, you know, iconic. You know, break the cycle. Typecast. Yes, like I loved Yes when it first came out. Together Forever, I love that when it first came out. Precision Is There, that's easily a good song. Superstar, Who You Are, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, that first part of the album, and then he got with Bryson, he got with Kodak, you know, he got with a couple other features. Aaron Allen, Kane, I'm not sure what her name is, but every song that she was on, like, she gave it a glimmer. She gave it some light. She gave it some brightness, some radiance to it, and I'm glad he was able to use her. I heard Hit Boys. I feel like the production was good. I feel like the production was there. I don't feel like it was rich. It was big sounds, but to be honest, it just depends on what beat you choose. Like, do you want your album to be rich with a lot of sound, or do you want your album to be a little bit more spacey, where you got pockets where you can get in there and people gonna really have to listen to what you say? So I believe he used the production how he was supposed to use the production. He wasn't coming in this album trying to make hit after hit, but the music was easily digestible. It was an easy album to listen to, like just 20 tracks and letting it go. It wasn't really no part where you was like, come on, bro. Like, everything sounded good. So I think Big Sean deserves the credit, and I think we need to get behind this type of music, because this is what the culture needs. Something positive, something light. Better You Than Me, Big Sean.